Dusk Maiden of Amnesia.
Does she have a good memory?
No, she forgot. She doesn't know what happened in the past.
Oh, one of those.
So it starts off. I don't know how recent this was. His animation wasn't bad. It just wasn't like real shiny and new. Anywho, there's some girl and she's in the what do they call it? Like Weird Club, Find Mysteries Club,
The Occult Society.
the Occult Society, the Haruhi Suzumiya Club, that thing. And so she's in there, and she's like, all right, I'm going to just start going through all the papers on weird things that have been happening around the school. We got this one. And then she doesn't see it, but what we see is that her tea, suddenly it gets up, and it's moving on its own, but she's completely oblivious to it. And then she looks up and is like, oh, did my tea just move? Oh, what's going on? And then her papers start to move, but she doesn't realize that either. And then she's like doing something and her keychain starts moving around. And, it's kind of funny, I guess, because here she's looking for something occult and it's happening right in front of her face and she can't even see it. Anywho, she mentions she likes this one boy in the club. And then, boom, the boy walks in. And he sits down on the other side and she says, whoa, hi, how are you doing? And he says, hi. And then it's like he's talking to a ghost or something. And she says, are you talking to a ghost? And he's like, oh, no, of course not, no. And his hair moves up and her hair moves up and crazy things are happening. And then a girl walks in and she's saying something, and then they go off on their first adventure. They go to the local school. What are the little elevators that move food from one floor to another? What are those called?
Dumbwaiter.
A dumbwaiter, yeah. And you know how every school has a dumbwaiter, right?
Yeah, every school.
Is it like in the cafeteria or something? Or like the service elevator?
No, it's nowhere near the cafeteria.
Is it in the cafetorium?
No.
Oh.
It's just some random hallway. And they get on at the top and they get off at the bottom, and there's no cafeteria anywhere near it. So I know for a fact this dumbwaiter is meaningless and pointless. So they show up, and she's like, yeah, so there's a rumor that this thing's been broken for years. It moves sometimes, and then it starts moving up, and she's like, oh no, and she starts grabbing onto the boy, and she's getting real scared, and he's like, oh, it's probably nothing, I wouldn't worry about it. And then it gets up, and the doors open, and then suddenly he flies into it, and then we do a flashback to the beginning of the episode. But this time we can see the ghost girl as she walks around and she like drinks the tea and she takes the papers and she moves things around. And she also seems to like this boy. Okay, so there's ghost girl. There's the boy that can see ghost girl. There's the girl that can see ghost girl. And there's the girl that can't see ghost girl. All right? Those are the four. And they walk over, and Ghost Girl goes up and like presses the button on the dumbwaiter, and it's like, oh, look at that, it's working. I mean, she didn't even check to see if it was working or not. And then the one girl, she starts like hugging the boy because she's scared, and the Ghost Girl gets kind of jealous, and so she kicks the boy into the little dumbwaiter. And that's what's that happened. Yeah. And then she and the boy, the Ghost Girl and the boy are in the dumbwaiter, and he can't see anything, and when they get to the bottom and it opens, he's accidentally has his hand on her breast. So
On a ghost's breast?
yeah.
Okay.
You seem to think that I've just told you a crazy story, but all right. So yeah, that was the first episode. As far as the anime goes, it has potential. It looks like from the intro, she's probably going to have to fight some fights. They probably got to figure out what happened in the past, because she mentioned she doesn't remember what happened in the past. Probably going to be a bit of a love triangle, Is this boy going to wind up with the ghost girl at the end? Who knows? Who knows? So yeah, give Dusk Maiden of Amnesia a watch. Unless you have something better to do with your time, then you probably shouldn't. What'd you think of it, Laven?
It sounded dumb. It was just a giant story about a bunch of crap that I didn't care about.
What are you talking about? They're in a club, like Haruhi Suzumiya, you know? She's a little crazy, and she likes her espers, you know?
Oh, when you put it like that, yeah, I thought it was great.
All right. Well, this next one, it's a gem. All right? All right, you ready for it?
I've been ready.
No Game, No Life. Now, you can't tell me you haven't heard of this sucker.
I've heard of it. I watched that one.
Yeah.
Yeah. I was watching it. Great animation. Truly top-notch. It starts off, they're in a game, and they're like 10,000 people, and they're fighting 4 people, and the 4 people win, and they're like, oh my, these 4 people must be like real great fighters. And then it goes, and there's this 18-year-old boy, and his, I think, 13-year-old sister, and they are playing 2 characters at the same time, all right? And they're both otakus. And she's basically a lolly, because her clothes, like, don't quite fit, and she's like, I'm so tired, brother. Oh, I'm so tired. And you're like, why are you saying it like that? This is a little creepy.
She's whispering everything.
Yeah, and he's always just like, oh, we got to keep fighting. Fight. And then she just... she puts 2 mouse pads on his feet, and he has 2 mouse pads on his hands, and he just starts playing his 4 characters and wins, I guess. I don't know. It didn't make a lot of sense to me, but they were there. And then they get a chess invite, and they play chess, and they win. And then it says, hey, have you ever thought your world sucks? And they're like, yeah, I have. And then they get sucked into another world. And this little kid, who's apparently God, is like, hey, I made a world where you play games, and it's fun, and so play some games. And so they go around, and they basically are gambling with other people to try to get stuff. And, yeah, so they gamble with some guys and get their clothes. They gamble with this one woman with large breasts and get her money. And then they go to sleep.
All right.
I do have to say, amazing animation. Really top-notch animation. If you like little lolly girls, that little sister, I bet, she seems to be a bit comfortable with her much older brother.
What if, technically speaking, you don't?
Well, then this may not be the best anime for you, but I don't know, maybe if you could turn a blind eye, some other young vixen is probably going to show up soon, and you could always, secretly hope that he's going to wind up with her at the end. I mean, just as long as you never watch the last episode, you can never deny or confirm that, so, there's that. So, Jacko, you saw this. What'd you think of it?
I really liked it. Yeah, because the animation was good. I thought the music was good. The voice acting was really good. I don't think you would like it if you kept watching it because it does have a lot of anime tropes. Even though it makes fun of them, it does have them. So it's like all they do is just play games and they kind of just slowly form a harem. Even though the guy doesn't like any of them. It's just a bunch of other girls and then him.
And what, they're just following him around or something?
That's what they do, Patrick.
They're just stereotypical characters. Like one has animal ears and they just keep pointing out how anime has characters with animal ears, and how one girl's really dumb and has big boobs, and I don't know. I thought it was pretty funny.
Okay. Well, Laven, why don't you give it a watch?
Yeah, it's right on my list, yeah.
Well, I mean, is it high on the list? Is it?
No, not at all.
Is it somewhere near the middle of the list, do you think?
Sure. Yeah, the list is really long, so yeah, I'll put it in the middle.
Okay. Okay. Well, yeah, good times.